you see okay? Okay. Okay, so this is Mulder map. If you haven't seen the X-Files, I apologize because this is littered with X-Files references that you won't understand. But I wanted to, going into this, explore how to represent data through sound. So I found a data set that's UFO sightings in the United States. There is actually an organization that collects these in case you have one to report that exists. And for the interest of time, I focused on the only data I focused on was from 1999. So what does it do? You can go in here and you choose a month, which is, let's say, June. And you can also choose a mood. Right now I just have spooky and melancholy. Your two standard moods. And then something's gonna happen when I click listen, but I just wanna go through kind of like how the audio that you will hear is generated. So whenever I choose a month, the program automatically generates a new sequence to play. And that sequence is decided upon by a few things. So I made like geographical regions, 10 of them, and then I mapped each one to a different note. And I made a set of like sort of analogous notes. There is some dissonance for the spooky one, but I kind of like it. And then in terms of time, every measure you hear represents 1 day. And the intervals between the notes playing are actually proportional to like the real-time intervals between UFO sightings. The last thing you'll see is some visuals. So every time you hear a note, the corresponding location will pop up with a little icon that is like where the sighting was. So I really hope this works. Okay. Can you hear it? And that's like a live counter counting up, and then there's also obviously the date. One thing you might notice is that a lot of the sounds are clustered around right when the day changes, and that's just because like most UFO sightings happen at night. So if you can still hear me, I'll let that play a little quieter. But in terms of just like the sort of what I used to make this, I used an audio library called Tone.js. And that allowed me to experiment with like the quality of the sounds and obviously emitting the sounds. The other cool thing that library does is start like what's called a tone transport, which is like an audio context that keeps track of the time. And I used that, a callback function within that to actually render all the visuals you see with some D3. Not too complicated, but a little bit. So the last thing you can do with it, you can hit stop. And then again, you can choose whatever month you want. And if you click I want to believe, you see all of the UFO sightings, little alien heads for that month. And then if you click on one of them, I can't remember what a good one is, but you see the date and then the description the person gave. And unfortunately, they were truncated by the data set that I was using. So there's some real cliffhangers in there. There's one that's like an abduction event, but he says it was not successful for them. So I don't know what that means. And then if you click the truth can stay out there, it all disappears. So yeah, that's it.